Hey guys, so I'm driving back from Costco, and today, like, I know it sounds crazy, I gotta hold the phone while I drive simply because it's harder to actually set up the little, what's it called, magnet to hold the phone. That's not important. But I'm fine. I got one hand on the wheel. I am looking where I'm going, as in I'm not gonna be looking at you, but gotta squeeze in the video, so here it is. And it's about the Financial Peace University class last night. It was the last one. I got to pass out the certificates to my graduates, and it was just such a blessing. So the very, 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 very last class is about giving. And yay, at a stoplight, I can look at you guys. And basically, Dave Ramsey says that lesson in particular, if you don't understand it, if you don't understand that the way money truly works in God's system, you will never have financial peace. You might have the financial, you have all the money in order, but you won't have peace surrounding your finances. So this lesson is about being a giver. And I mentioned that in an earlier video, that God in his wisdom created us to be givers, like giving our tithe, 10% of our money to the church. Created us to be givers for what it does in our heart. Yes, there are people in need. Yes, you can bless other people. And being a blessing is like amazing. Like, that's great. But the reality is, it changes our hearts. It makes us better. It makes us see things differently when we are givers. So the whole premise of the lesson is be wise, do all the baby steps, get to where you're going with your money, succeed, have a house paid off with your investments and have no debt. And then don't hold your money so tightly, as in don't become fearful, which apparently that's a big thing among people with a lot of money. It's literally fear of losing their money. So don't hold on so tightly, because if you are with a closed fist, you may not lose what you have, quote unquote, but you also don't have an open hand to receive any more money either, right? So you should hold your money with an open hand. Yes, some's gonna get out, but it allows for more to get back in. And there are actually, there's a Jewish rabbi who wrote a book that he has referenced before, but he didn't reference it in this giving portion. But he wrote a book, which I'm going to put it in the description, because right now it's not coming to me. But the gentleman is called Daniel Lapin, Rabbi Daniel Lapin. And he wrote a book, and in that book he talks about like how to win with money, basically. And one of the points that he says is give money, because when you give, you create a channel to be able to receive. It's like, if you think about there was no connection between two people, and then somebody initiated a connection. Now you're connected, so you could hear something back from them, you could receive something back from them. So just looking at it that way, right? Like the first person to say hello, the other person says hello. But basically it's initiating and you receive. And the reality is, people who give, like, things come back. I mean, the ideas about karma, even though that's not rooted in biblical stuff, and also it condemns people, but that's a whole nother talk. But the idea of karma, I mean, there's a level of truth to it, that you do good and your good things will happen to you simply because you have effective positive change to the people around you, that then therefore you do that enough, there's going to be a positive change affected to you. And I mean, just think about the disposition of a person who's a giver, who's a servant, who's a lover, who helps people in need. I'll give you an example today. And the funniest part about it, sorry, going back a little bit, the funniest part about the whole giving, it's actually like kind of selfish, because one, it satisfies you, but two, there could be advantages to it for you. So like, here's an example. Today I was heading to Costco. This lady was leaving from a space that honestly wasn't that close, but it was like on the side towards the building, and she had a shopping cart. When you have kids, you don't think of just what's the closest. You think of what's like the most convenient, because what do? Leave your child in the car to go get a shopping cart, come back? I mean, that doesn't work. Or have to carry him with you. Like, all that makes it more difficult, and there's safety issues around it, you know. So anyway, there's this older woman who was walking up to her car with a shopping cart, and it was literally the very first car in the whole row that gets to the building. But it's easier to walk for me with a kid because I'm literally on the right side of the road, don't have to cross in between all the cars and the chaos. And I mean, if you shop at Costco, you know how crazy it gets. And like I said, she has a cart, so all these things are to my advantage. And so what I ended up doing was sorry, having a issue here getting through my gates. What I ended up doing was pulling up my car kind of on the side, because there was like an area that wasn't designated for parking, but it was still on like the side of the road right next to the space. Pulled up to the side, and I said, hey, can I help you unload your car? And I mean, here's this really old lady. She got bottles of water and everything, and I didn't know her age. Her age was 94. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, and you drive and do all these things? She's like, I have no one else to do it for me. But this lady is how you want to get to old age as. Like, just, she even pulled out of that parking space like a G. Anyway, so here I am doing a nice thing, helping the old lady, but really for selfish reasons, because it makes my life easier, because I like the parking space, and I got a shopping cart right there, and you know, just planning ahead. And it ended up being a blessing to her, and it was a blessing to me. This lady was so cool, and you know, our conversation blessed me. Our conversation changed my day for the positive, and that's just something super small. So like, literally, when you see an old person unload their groceries to the car, like, just that is a big deal. But anyway, I was able to leave the car where I could see Jordan, know he was safe, and help unload, and then I had a space for myself, and it was a blessing. So anyway, yeah, if you are a giver, then you aren't so consumed with holding on to your money, and you also understand the one more biggest point, which is that God owns everything. Like, God owns the whole earth, everything in it, the fullness thereof, and you're just one to manage the money. And if you manage it wisely, then you're gonna get more money. It's just that's just part of the deal. So anyway, being grateful for what you have and showing God how grateful you are through your giving, and you're gonna be blessed. And most of all, being open to blessing others through your time, through your finances, and the freedom that there is when you literally live life with an open hand, an open heart. And yeah, that was it. It was the last class. There were some positive changes in the group. Somebody paid off all their debt. I mean, talk about a win. They were dancing over that. We had a cake last night to celebrate. So it was a blessing. I'm so glad I did it. And if you haven't walked through Financial Peace University, I highly suggest you do. It's definitely worth doing. It was a game changer for me. So have a good one.